They all stripped down naked in the room. And they laid their beds out, and they're all laying in there naked, watching Brokeback Mountain.
So what we got now is Brokeback Mountain.
On today's video, rookie wide receiver Jalen Royals left practice yesterday with an injury. We're going to discuss that. Also, Jake Briningstool, the UDFA tight end, is absolutely killing it at OTAs. Oh yeah, and we saw Rashee Rice back out there, no knee brace, looking comfortable and looking healthy. We're going to talk about how that's going to benefit the Chiefs. Plus, an old Chief come back to sign a contract with the team. Thanks for watching All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for clicking this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell. Let's go.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up.
Week 2 of OTAs is a wrap, and we got to see Rashee Rice back out on the field, looking healthy, running drills, and he looks very, very comfortable with where he's at recovering from that knee injury, Mike. How huge is that for the freaking Chiefs?
It's monumental, man. He didn't have any knee brace on. He looked quick. He looked athletic. He looked super fast. He still has good hands. It's Rashee Rice, baby. So Patrick Mahomes wasn't lying last week. He wasn't blowing smoke when he said that Rashee looks like Rashee. We seen that today. The media got to look at it. Everybody got to look at it. You guys are seeing the highlights right now. I think this is big for the Chiefs. We're finally going to get to see, hopefully, him and Hollywood Brown take the field together for the first time since Hollywood's made himself a Chief.
Yeah, man, we talked about this on a live stream a little bit last night. Mike, you brought to everybody's attention that at the beginning of last season, Rashee Rice was kind of that go-to guy that was getting peppered and kind of a security blanket for Patrick Mahomes, much like Travis Kelce normally is. And then I went on to add to that if he could have played the rest of the season and stayed on the same trajectory that he was on, he could have potentially ended last season with 1,800 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns, which would have been massive. I think if Rashee Rice can stay healthy, not get suspended, and be on the field and produce like he was last season, it could be a monumental year for that guy.
Yeah, I think if we want to see the Mahomes-Kelce combo get back to what it was, if we want to see Xavier Worthy get back and have a good sophomore season here, we got to get Rashee Rice on the field. We got to get him integrated into the offense. I think it helps the deep ball as well, and that's what we know Andy Reid wants to do this year.
Rashee Rice is back, baby. Get horned up and let us know in the comments what he's going to do this season. Mike, something else worth mentioning, Jaylon Moore was not participating in OTAs. We discussed that a little bit and what that looks like for the left tackle position battle between him and rookie left tackle Josh Simmons. Is Josh Simmons getting a leg up on Jaylon Moore in that position battle by actually getting out and getting some reps in earlier?
Yeah, I don't know why Jaylon Moore's not on the field. It could be a legit injury. Maybe he's sick. Maybe he's got something personal going on. Who knows? But Josh Simmons was out there yesterday, Steve, and Andy Heck said that he done everything fast and he come out unscathed. They're just trying to teach him a little bit of technique. Jaylon Moore right now is fighting for that number 1 position. He can't act as though he's got the job given to him. It's going to be a big time battle here, man. And it sounds like Josh Simmons is not going to go away here without a fight.
Andy Reid and even Brett Veach have talked about how Josh Simmons is ahead of the curve when it comes to that injury and that he could be getting back and completely healthy by training camp, Mike. That would be freaking huge, and that's going to be a fun position battle to watch all summer long. I'm with you. I think Jaylon Moore needs to get out there, start getting his feet wet. This is a new situation for him, a whole new team, a whole new scheme. I think Jaylon Moore was signed as plan A. They weren't expecting to be able to get Josh Simmons at pick 32. I think that was just a gift. And now they have a position battle on their hands. It's going to be a fun one to keep your eye on.
Yeah, no matter who wins that job, Patrick Mahomes is rooting the hardest for them to just be good.
Mike, something you mentioned to me earlier, Dave Toub came out and said Xavier Worthy is probably the best punt returner in the NFL that no one knows about.
Yeah, Dave Toub actually said Worthy, he'll be in the mix here with punt returns. Now, if you remember, he was going to be our guy last year. He planned on being our guy until Rashee Rice got hurt, and that changed everything for that dynamic. He ended up being our wide receiver 1 for us, so we couldn't afford to have him back there. I say he's the best punt returner nobody knows about right now in the league, so hopefully we get him back out there this year. Steve, that is wild, man. Like, is Xavier Worthy the best punt returner nobody's seen? He did do it in college at Texas. He did it very limited, but he was explosive. This could be another aspect that gets overlooked with the Chiefs. We're dynamic on offense. We are stout on defense. And now if you put a dynamic playmaker like Xavier Worthy every time they punt the ball, that's just another wrinkle in this Chiefs circus we got going on.
So the first thing that comes to mind with Xavier Worthy returning punts and being part of special teams in particular is injury concerns. A lot of people worried about his durability coming in as a rookie, and now you have him knowing that he's going to be a damn good receiver. Do you really want to risk it? There's a few other guys on this team that are going to be fighting for a roster spot just on their special teams ability, like Nico Remigio, Magdalena, and even Elijah Badger. But the Chiefs aren't opposed to do that. They're not afraid to do that with a guy that is a big part of their offense. If you go back to the Tyreek Hill days, Mike, he was our main dude on offense, but at the same time, he was returning punts and kicks and things like that. And it was a huge spark for the Chiefs. There were several times in games where he came up very, very clutch in the return game and swung games in our favor and brought us the momentum. So that could definitely be something in our back pocket with Xavier Worthy.
I like Worthy doing that, but I liked it in selective situations. I don't think you should do it all the time. I think you let guys like Nico, like you mentioned, maybe Elijah Badger if he gets a shot at making the 53. No Williams even, we've seen him doing it, and he's a defensive guy. A lot of these guys have a lot of capability to do stuff like this. I bet Elijah Mitchell would be pretty good at it too, so you've got plenty of options there. I don't know if I'd necessarily want Xavier Worthy, who is potentially wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, depending on Rashee Rice's injuries and suspensions and things like that. Let's not even get into Hollywood and his injuries and stuff he has going with his history. So he potentially could be our number one guy at the end of this season too. Knock on wood, he don't have to be, but let's not use him all the time. Let's be very selective with Xavier Worthy, and let's use him as a weapon when we need to.
For sure, and you didn't even mention Brashard Smith is probably going to be in that mix on kick returns as well. So there's lots of different options there. There were a lot of young guys that coaches were really hyping up in their pressers, man. Omar Norman Lott got some kind words, Ashton Gelati. I think there's a lot to be excited about, and a lot of these young guys are getting a good start to their Chiefs career OTAs. Before we get on to who's really showing out at OTAs, let's take a second to shout out punter Dustin Colquitt. He got to re-sign with the Chiefs for one day just to retire, man. And Dustin Colquitt went through it with the Chiefs. He was with us through the hard times, and he was with us when we got that first Super Bowl in 50 years, man. So shout out Dustin Colquitt.
Shout out to Dustin Colquitt too for being the prank war champion. Dave Tobe told a story today at the podium that was a little wild. He said he got naked. He would watch Brokeback Mountain in the dorm rooms just to make Tobe feel uncomfortable. This story makes me feel a little uncomfortable. I'll just let you hear what Tobe had to say.
Three of it was Suck Up, him, and I can't remember who else, but they all stripped down naked in the room. And they laid their beds out, and they're all laying in there naked, watching Brokeback Mountain real loud. So when the guy comes in to check, I mean, that's what was going on. But that's clean, you know. So.
Huh? You have no idea how bad it gets.
So congratulations, Dustin Colquitt, on an awesome career. Enjoy your retirement, brother.
You work hard, you play hard, and we know Chiefs Kingdom cheers hard. And when you do that, it's obvious you work up a little stank. You don't have to walk around smelling like Bigfoot's. Grab yourself some Mando full body deodorant or some Mando whole body deodorant spray. They even have whole body deodorant cream. You have no reason to stink. We absolutely love Mando, and that's why we partnered with them to bring their goodness to you. There's 4 scents. This bourbon leather here is fantastic. They also have Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, and Pro Sport scent. So do you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula? Of course you do. You can find them at Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. But for the best deals, go to shopmando.com. You can pick up a Mando starter pack. It's absolutely perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and you get free shipping. Free shipping is huge. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence head to toe with Mando.
Mike, let's move on to OTAs, a guy that's really showing out, and that's tight end Jake Briningstool. He seems to be on the tip of everyone's tongue every time someone said, hey, who's really sticking out at OTAs? This kid's out there making crazy catches, looking smooth in his routes, looking fast, looking good. A lot of people think he could squeeze his way onto the 53-man roster.
Yeah, there's a shot he could get on the 53-man roster. I think he probably ends up on the practice squad, but he is fighting for that maybe 3rd or 4th tight end position, whatever Andy wants to take. Briningstool had a nice day yesterday. He caught a nice pass from Patrick Mahomes. It was a deep one up the seams. He went over the top of Nick Bolton, who had pretty good coverage, and he made a nice catch. Briningstool was making plays all over the field. He's done this since OTAs has started. He's now stacked 2 good weeks. Briningstool's got a nice future ahead of him here if he can keep his head on straight. And I think luck and injuries goes into it a lot too. We got to see where Jared Wiley lands.
Yeah, Jake Briningstool can do a lot of things for the offense. He's definitely a weapon in the pass game. He's not much of a blocker, but he's going to give you another option out there for Patrick Mahomes that can make plays. He can go over the top. He can fight through contact. He can do a lot of different things. I saw it in his tape at Clemson. So pretty excited about Jake Briningstool. Mike, the biggest story to me from the day was the fact that Jalen Royals had to leave practice early. He ran a deep route. Leo was in coverage. The ball was overthrown a bit, so it was a drop or really just not a reception. But he left the field after that and did not return. This was early on in practice as they were still in 7-on-7 drills. Do you think it's anything to be concerned about knowing that he's coming off that foot injury at the end of his college career?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs were just being super cautious. Jalen Royals was coming off of an injury last year in college. It hindered his pre-draft workouts a little bit. That's why he slipped to the 4th round of the draft this year. So I think the Chiefs are just being cautious. It's probably nothing big. Matt Derrick actually had this to say about it. Take a listen to what he said.
Royals, I mentioned he did leave practice about an hour in today. Before that was having a good day. Let me see. Before that, I know he had that target on the one play that he left on. And it was relatively early because that was in the 7-on-7 period. He had one down the right sideline if I remember that one correctly, I think it was just a little bit too long for him. Leo Chenal was in coverage, and actually Leo did a really good job of keeping up with him. I'm not sure that Leo did anything to cause the drop, but I think it was more the fact that it was just a little bit too long for Jalen. But no, I mean, I thought he was having a fine day before he had to leave. We'll see about the severity of the injury. Like I said, I didn't look to necessarily be too severe today. Hopefully we'll find out here either in the next couple of days, or if all is good to go, we probably won't hear anything until next week.
Yeah, so nothing to hit the panic button about, but I think everybody is excited for what Jalen Royals is going to bring to this offense, Mike. We've talked about him since way early in the draft conversation. He was one of our favorite guys. I actually thought the Chiefs might take a shot on him even earlier than the 4th round before it got closer to the draft. This kid's dynamic, man. He does a lot of different things. He's a bigger body. He runs a 4.4. He looks a lot like Rashee Rice at times. Also, at the top of his game, he reminds you of Jamar Chase. We said that way early on, and everybody else has got on that bandwagon. But there's some truth to it. You really do see a lot of Jamar Chase's game in Jalen Royals' game, and it's pretty exciting knowing that we got a guy like that could potentially be wide receiver 5.
Yeah, you see somebody that's quick. You see somebody that's got strong hands. He'll fight through contact. He'll catch the ball, and he can turn into a running back after he catches the ball, a la Jamar Chase. So we get that. He looks like Rashee Rice. He may have to fill in for Rashee Rice a little bit if there's something that goes on with that suspension. Let's hope nothing's there. But like you said, he's battling for wide receiver 5. He could press Juju for wide receiver 4, to be honest.
So time's yours, Chiefs Kingdom. Get down in the comments and let us know what you think about tight end Jake Briningstool, what you think about Jalen Royals. Also, would it be a good idea to use Xavier Worthy in the punt return game for extra spark?
Thanks for commenting, sharing this video with a friend. We'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs. I'm about to get naked and go watch Brokeback Mountain.
Huh?